resilient warrior Wu Huangdingfeng. Previously holding the corpse of Wang Dano, he shouted a single word, pointing at 3 people and shouting loudly. Secretly, no wonder they dared to kill my eldest son. I see that my family really didn't put our Jiao Yuan sect in their eyes. His face changed from anger to a sneer, and he chuckled. I heard the head of my family, Jia Qd, is a true hero among women. Peerless figure who rivals men. All of us men from Du Huintong are very eager to experience a little bit of that. Dark. Upon hearing these words, everyone behind him immediately broke into laughter, and each person's face showed a look of lewdness and debauchery. Even their expressions. Coldness of Vong Tran also slightly improved. He smiled softly and said, QD in his youth was an extraordinary beauty. My uncle was moved several times, but he never knew it could win her over. Vong Tran, though untalented, really wanted to fulfill his uncle's regrets. Hui Ba was shocked and said, Tran, young Master Tran, you are the 2 people they killed. It has nothing to do with my family. Not at all. Chi Ba felt even more cold inside. Under the aura of the icy frost of Vong Chan didn't even dare to face him directly. Vong Tran spoke and said, are you going to die at the tap because of my family? Why don't you just admit it? Are you serious? It's just about how many times you've been involved, but none of that really matters, cause no matter how many times you've been involved, as long as there's a relationship, you have to die. Ma Dongni was out of breath. She didn't know how to scold people, only calling them bad people. Her face flushed with anger, which makes the opponent even more eager. A bunch of eyes glow with a greenish light. Bad people, please show some mercy. Although my family isn't a grand sect, we are still a force in the heavenly martial world. The 9D family is led by my, so how can you dare to insult us like that? That top martial artist named Vo Hong is laughing loudly, his eyes falling on the 3P, grinning and saying, you villain, soon you'll call us young master or lord. For now let's first kill the murderer who killed Sir Dac and the old Madam Ta. To avoid eyeing us, Hui Ba takes a deep breath, terrified, and steps back. After a few days came terrifying, and they said, Master, young master, the death of my junior brother truly was beyond expectations. I suggest you capture these 2 people. I beg you, young master, to see if you can spare my life. The 9 elders of our clan, they spared my life. Hui Ba 3. Sweat poured down his face like beans, and suddenly he raised a knife in hand, striking my Dong Ni. Furious, hoarsely shout, all because of that wretched woman. You've implicated me. This old woman, under Wang Zhen's aura, could not even form a thought of resistance, only knowing to vent her anger on my Dong Ni. Li Yunxiao silently shook his head. Gently step forward, throw a punch outward, using the strength of the body to grab that knife. Then Jin forced Granny Kuei to step back several steps. Under the dim light, the fear in her unbelieving eyes, Li Yunxiao took a step forward, strangely approaching Granny Kuei, lifted her up and threw her toward Wang Zhen like a weapon. The strong man, the fake Vo Hong peak master, still coldly watched them fight. Now, at this moment, he snorted coldly and stomped down, causing the ground to shake. The entire blue stone floor shattered into dust. He coldly stared at Lai Vantu, not even bothering to glance at the kneeling woman. He immediately struck out with Hong without any mercy. How dare you underestimate my young master? You want to die. She let out a miserable cry in midair, then spat out a mouthful of fresh blood, and at the same time, a battle armor light appeared on her body, instantly shattering it. Saw that she blocked most of the force of the strike. Hit far away, lying on the ground, crying miserably, unceasingly, continuously saying in his mouth, don't kill me, attack master, don't kill me. The strong man raised his eyebrows, showing displeasure on his face, obviously regarding that his single palm strike couldn't kill. The kneeling woman felt extremely displeased. Relax, lift your right arm and want to strike again. After dealing with her elderly, those people immediately turn their gaze to Lai Vantu, then shift their gaze back to Vong Tran. Lai Vantu's eyes turn cold. Must push my Dong Ni away. No space. He slightly curves his side, then quickly moves. Another shadowy figure disappears into the distance. Someone shouts, you want to die. More than a dozen people burst into laughter and rush forward. Although Li Vanyu fights with Wu Huangding, he is not at a disadvantage, but he also doesn't seem to have any aura or presence, appearing harmless and easily underestimated. Moreover, relying too much on. There were also two martial saints behind the town hall, so they basically had nothing to fear. Cursing while attacking, that powerful warrior Vo Hong Din Fong saw everyone looking careless, angrily shout once, then suddenly noticed that everyone was completely silent. Be careful. For me, this person is not simple. Question mark appears in his mind. Boom. What's happening? Wang Zhen is sitting there, suddenly lets out a light sound, as if he has realized something is wrong. Inside, an old man shows a surprised expression and says, this, young master, those people. Wang Zhen coldly says, kill them all. Why keep these scraps of trash being controlled and held back by others? What good would that do? Two old men looked at each other, both seeing helplessness and painful disappointment in each other's eyes. The divine mystery sect always act this way, and Wang Zhen killed people as easily as cutting straw. The two of them dared not disobey either. Seeing that fellow disciples have always lived together with me in their hearts, they all sighed deeply, then immediately took action to beat to to death. The martial artists who, while formless, were mentally suppressed and controlled by Li Yunxiao, were all martial king-level existences, and at this moment were being suppressed by domain power, with no strength left to resist. Killed by two martial saints in an instant. The ground was soaked with blood. No one survived. The strong scent of fresh blood lingered like a massacre. My Dong Ni saw this. Her face turned pale, unable to hold back nausea. Cruel demonic method for her made her extremely angry. Treating a family member can be just as treacherous. If I were to fall into his hands, it would be even more unpredictable. Wang Zhen, raising his head, coldly stares at Li Yunxiao, speaking coldly. What tricks do you still have now? Show them all. Let this young master have a look. Come on, show me what got. Let's see what you can do. Lai Van Tu's eyes gradually recovered to Qingming while controlling so many powerful martial emperors also drained his spirit great. However, Wang Zhen's cruelty also exceeded his expectations. He slightly smiled and said, it seems that the mysterious Dao sect in recent years has developed extremely well. Many having such a powerful subordinate. You say you don't need him anymore? No longer needed. Wang Zhen said coldly, the deaths of those men were because of you. You caused their deaths. I want to avenge them, and also for my younger brother's death. I will make you regret being born into this world. Li Yunxiao said, you should. Is it so boring? Fine. Those subordinates are actually you. As for your younger brother, he wanted to die himself. You're the one who wants to die. Wang Zhen finally turns livid, though he doesn't really have any feelings for this younger brother, and recently he has been very contemptuous, speaking like it's all the same anyway. Wang Zhen shouted loudly, one thought, no hesitation. Several forces surged from his palms, flowing out like silk ribbons wrapped around his hands. The forceful wind shaking the space in all directions, the space becoming solid, continuously condensing. Haha. Li Yunxiao laughed loudly and said, on the other hand, the fool doesn't understand there's any offense. Damn it, come and hit me. Back. Tian Han's sword in hand emerged from its sheath, cold as melting autumn. The arm at this moment turned pale yellow, generating immense force of 1,000 pounds. Not a hair was pierced through. The long sword slashed through the air. A fierce clashing sound rang out. On the sword's blade appeared a lotus flower blooming in full. Vong Tran snorted coldly, his two hands clenched and spun the air around him like gears pressing against Lai Van Tu's sword, causing the young men to shatter. The light in the purple tower dimmed slightly. Lai Van Tu smiled gently. He laughs, his movements like flowing water. After the sword is pushed back by the opponent, he immediately kicks into a strange footwork, dissolving the force, and at the same time, he thrusts a sword straight at the opponent's neck. Vong Tran's face shows a look of fear. The opponent is just a martial arts novice, yet he manages to block few moves. I was extremely gentle, as if nothing was wrong. If it were an ordinary martial set, probably one move would be enough to lose your life. I just felt strange that he controlled so many of my subordinates, so I found it a bit odd, which is why I decided to take action myself. Two of them exchanged several moves in the blink of an eye, and Wang Zhen grew increasingly angry, feeling that just a little more strength would be enough to defeat the opponent. But no matter how much he increases his strength, he can only maintain the current state. Lai Van Tu feels like a jack-in-the-box. No matter what suppression he faces doesn't work. Two old men behind him are both terrified and want to step forward, calling for help immediately. Young Master Wang Zhen shouted urgent, don't come over here. I want to kill him myself. Two fought inside the tower for about the time it takes to drink half a cup of tea. Li Yunxiao only defended without attacking, causing Wang Zhen to go mad, continuously screaming. This made Wang Zhen feel extremely flustered and furious inside. Well, I have practiced martial arts because of Wu Tun, so even 100 powerful fighters like Lai Van Tu would have been wiped out long ago. The two Wu Tun elders in his heart are both great experts. Seeing the layered strategies of Lai Van Tu, he is inwardly terrified, speechless with amazement. The golden light on his body seems to be a very advanced martial technique, strong as if I've seen it somewhere before. Do you have an impression? You don't mean the immortal golden body of the heavenly martial emperor, do you? Haha, you actually came up with that. Actually, in your heart, you think the same as I do. You just don't dare to admit it. Really does resemble it a bit, but absolutely cannot. If the immortal body isn't present, then the young master can't be safe on that path. Do you see him using the teleportation technique? It looks very similar to the shape-shifting illusion that the grand technique master loved form. Could it be the shape-shifting illusion? Or perhaps it's something else? Are you a young martial artist of the Wuzong level? The body carries an indestructible golden body technique and even knows how to change form and position. Is that possible? If not, what does he rely on to block the storm-like attacks of the young master? The primal force vibrations he emits do not exceed the level of the 8-star martial set. All of it depends on his physical strength and that strange footwork as well as martial skills. Yao Shen has only survived until now. Is this normal? Hearing you say that, there really is some problem. Both of the martial experts show suspicion and their expressions become more serious. Continuing to fight like this isn't the way. Currently, there are many martial artists in Wufeng City, although our Huin Tong is not afraid of causing trouble, but right now there are already a few hundred people outside the town. have gathered watching the drama. It's too embarrassing. That's right, it's better to end it soon. The young master won't let you or me get involved. How should we handle this then? You go arrest that young lady. Just be careful. Make sure nothing goes wrong. The kidney ran away. I'm going to take a light. That old hag over there. She's disgusted. Good. After finishing their tasks, the two quickly separated and rushed toward Ghost Granny and Ma Dongni. If Vong Tran hadn't told them to attack, they would be bored and idle, which is no better than doing some. Ma Dongni was also panicked, but how could she have? Unable to escape from Vo Tun's grasp, immediately suppressed by the domain's force, unable to move, waiting to be invaded. Li Van Tu, after firing a flame, immediately released a small diamond gourd, transforming into a form over 2 meters long, guarding in front of the two. Vong Tran showed a solemn expression and said, Hoi Loya Vo Tun Lev, are you from the Heavenly Leaf Sect? The Heavenly Leaf Sect specializes in mechanical golem techniques. On the Tianyu continent recently, they are mysterious, but their strength is not to be underestimated. According to legend, there are even golems of martial level within the sect. Li Yunxiao sighs deep, then suddenly teleports and continues along the phoenix path. The fire earlier caused his soul power to weaken. If he doesn't release the small gold gourd, it will be very dangerous. He just used his body to fight Lord Zhen for a long time, all to test his physical strength. Under this level of the indestructible golden body at primary stage, he can almost fight with martial skills only slightly line. If Wang Zhen clearly knew that the other party still used himself as a test subject, I wonder what thoughts would be in his heart. The three of them all showed a serious expression, staring intently at Hu Luo Little Diamond, sensing the shockwave emanating from the other person, feeling uneasy inside. Li Yunxiao shouted, I originally wanted to joke around with you a bit since you didn't take it seriously. Then this game ends here. Ho Lo Tu Kim Huang suddenly stepped forward, his martial aura pressing directly on them. Although he didn't have power of a domain, it was like a mountain overturning the sea. Then, the diamond fist struck. Out there, a spatial dimension is directly covered under the authority, ready to shatter at any moment. Among them, powerful martial Sa fearfully poured his primal energy into 2 punches, his aura rising, using the strength of one person to block the authority of the little diamond gourd. By Wang Zhen sometime, young master, quickly activate the spirit formation. Another martial cultivator suddenly awake. In this kind of situation, it's impossible for everyone to survive. Only sacrifices can protect the master. He immediately unleashed his strongest power, shouting loudly, young master, go quickly. The two people in danger immediately formed protective circle around the center. The master made everyone around wipe their eyes and look, but inside they were all continuously terrified. Who on earth from which place dared to kill the young master of the mysterious sect? And this being is neither human nor demon. What exactly is it? After the shock, Wang Zhen finally regained his composure, though he usually always lofty and aloof, never facing life-threatening danger direct. That's why he momentarily panicked and fumbled. After regaining composure, he immediately took an ancient jade block from his ring, quickly casting several spells. Li Van Tu saw from afar. His pupils suddenly contract and in a deep voice said, ancient spirit, Fu, and also the shield team. His figure immediately transformed into a beam of light, rushing forward, transmitting sound to Ma Dongni said, you should head to the Thunder Wind Fortress first. With Mo Xiao Sun there, it's enough to keep you safe. I will kill this person and then I will come afterward. As soon as Li Vinitu charged out a punch, Hilo Xiaojin's diamond finally broke through the defenses set up by the two martial venerates, directly defeating them, turning them into pulp, blood and flesh flying everywhere. At the same time, Wang Zhen activated his ancient spiritual talisman, but it turned out to be a bolt of lightning, which immediately shot 100 miles away and vanished before their eyes. Everyone, the effectiveness of this Duan Fu is indeed the strongest among the Duan techniques, can travel hundreds of miles in the blink of an eye. Li Van Tu snorted coldly, then stepped on the residual sound after the diamond fist exploded, chasing after that streak of light. The small diamond gourd also shot up into the sky, following behind Li Van Tu. What exactly happened? Someone even dared to try to kill the young master Dia Huin Tong King Chong. I wasn't mistaken, was I? Wow, it really added some insight. The creature just now, what cultivation level did it have to be able to kill two martial artists one punch? That's incredibly terrifying. Is there anything strange? Even a martial ancestor is just a noble existence right before our eyes. In front of us, our strong existence is no different from ants and worms. We see that the youth's status is not simply, of course, daring to chase and kill Prince Du Huintong in a distant town, and having such power. Followers must surely be like Du Huintong. Formidable force belongs to one of 10 great sects of the northern region. This is truly big news. Could it be that the 10 great sects of the northern region are about to have a civil war? If that really happens, it will surely terrify the entire continent. Ma Dongni, hearing all the discussions around you, your mind is chaotic like a demon, silent, blaming yourself. Could it be that you really are the unlucky star, the one who brings bad luck? She, in her distress, hurriedly ran toward the Lei Feng Trading Guild. Right now, only Mo Xiaoxian is invited to go out to preside. If Li Yunxiao really kills Vanguard Zhen, then the consequences are truly unimaginable. Li Yunxiao carries a gourd and a small diamond flying hundreds of miles away already, leaving Vu Trake City by some distance, then entering the desolate wilderness alone. He looked around, his eyes revealing a cold and unwilling glint. Lai Van Tu quietly said, "That's your child, yet you let him escape, even though he used concealment techniques. Escaping your hands shouldn't be so easy, right?" Li Yunxiao suddenly frowned, his eyes converged, and he suddenly pointed his finger. A beam of sword light shot out from his fingertip, aiming into the empty space several hundred feet away. Wherever the sword light passed, the space trembled for a moment, and the shadow of Bong Tran appeared from within it, his face showing a look of horror and panic. "Wanted to run away?" Lai Van Tu spoke up. "Since I've already made you appear, then stay forever. This is outside the city, a desolate place, also a good resting place." Bong Tran took out a jade token and placed it in front of him, saying, "Inside this jade token is a trace of my father's divine will. If they dare to pressure me, I will crush their jade. You all must die without a doubt." Li Yunxiao chuckled softly. The small diamond gourd followed, laughing mockingly. Wang Zhen was frightened by this mocking sound, clenched his hand, and suddenly the jade was crushed. Then a flash of light, purple light, gradually emerged from the jade pendant, rising up, slowly freezing in midair. Right after, an old man in a long robe with a purple aura appeared beneath that purple light. The aura around him flickered unpredictably, appearing in midair, his eyes like lightning fixed on the little diamond gourd and Lai Van Tu. Wang Zhen saw the old man pretending, his heart shook, then hurriedly called for help. "Save me!" Li Yunxiao stammered in fear. "Oh, it's Wang Gong who can manifest divine thoughts. Is this divine thought thread really that powerful?" In the eyes of that divine thought thread, anger burst out, sternly shouting, "Ah, you also realize that our sect is already so. How dare you injure my child? Hurry up and kneel down to admit your fault, and listen to my judge." Lai Van Tu back then didn't know if there was something wrong with your mind. King then Nim Vong Tsong frowned, angrily said, "Where are you from? When have you ever seen our sect?" He pondered for a moment in his mind. "I clearly don't remember this person." Using his divine perception intensity, anyone who has seen him will definitely not get. Li Yunxiao said coldly, "If you don't remember clearly, then fine. Better get out of the way quickly. I still want to kill your child. If you don't wisely eliminate this divine perception of yours, I'm afraid your strength, it must cost a lot." What? Wang Gong almost thought he misheard, and even Wang Zhen and Wang Gong, both angry, showed surprise when speaking. "Kid, what did you say?" Divine will fluctuated under anger and began to stir. "As the leader of a sect, you lead one of 10 great, the sect in the northern region, for so many years. No one dared to speak to him like that." Li Van Tu said coldly, "I told you to step aside. Since when did your ears come so bad? Don't think that just because there's a group of divine thoughts here, I am afraid of you. Today, if someone wants to kill, unless it's me, person from Hang Lam, then no one can save you." In Lai Van Tu's eyes, cold beam like ice shot out. Even Vong Tsong was a bit surprised. Deep inside he was endlessly terrified. Just a teenage martial disciple. How could he have such a fierce and cold, ruthless gaze? Vong Tsong replied, "Kid, I don't know. You may have connections, but if you harm my beloved son, even if the 7 great powers at the highest level back you up, I will not let it slide." Wang Gong's expression darkened. He seemed to realize the situation was somewhat different. From the cold, ice-like gaze of Li Yunxiao, he saw the other's determination. "It is confidence and determination that only a true powerful martial artist possesses." He then said, "Moreover, if I cling on to Jin Air, my strength can immediately soar to martial emperor level, and killing you would be as easy as lifting a finger." Wang Zhen said urgently, "Father, my younger brother has been killed by him." Wang Gong exclaimed in shock. "What?" When Wang Gong heard the news, his whole mind went crazy. Although Wang De was usually lazy and fond of eating, never ambitious and not favored by him, he was still his son after all. Among all of northern region, he was regarded as a famous young master, usually considered. Voda normally would have given him some face. Now he's dead. A wave of fiery rage spreads throughout Vong Tsong's entire body. The divine thought transformation under this fiery rage almost seems to disintegrate like flames leaping upward, only to suddenly extinguish at any moment. Vong Tsong looks up to the sky in fury, let out a roar, powerful aura booming, spread out, turned around and shot into Wang Zhen's body. "Die, deserve to die, deserve to die." Wang Zhen trembled, wanted to resist. Father, sir, don't. Such a strong divine will clinging to my body will definitely consume my flesh, directly affect my martial talent. Prince shout, "Your younger brother is already dead. You can't even protect your own brother. What else can you do?" Prince, in anger, wishing he could strike him down with one palm, ignoring everything, he directly jumped into Wang Zhen's body. Wang Zhen immediately revealed. A look of suffering appeared, face turned up to the sky. The roar stopped, but according to that shout, the force grew stronger and stronger. After directly leaping to the peak of the martial set, the momentum still increased. Li Yunxiao calmly said, not relying on the little gourd diamond on his body. In his eyes showed a hint of impatience. "Ah, you really want to breaking through to the martial emperor level? You need to understand that if break through to the martial emperor, don't mention the heavenly fortune martial path of your body. Whether this body can be saved is also a problem. His current appearance almost made Wang Zhen furious enough to spit blood, but his reason still dominated, directly suppressing his cultivation level under the martial emperor. After all, the martial future of his son is much more important. King roared in agony, "You brat, how dare you kill my son and force me, his father, upon my beloved child. Today, I will strip you piece by piece and shatter every bone in your body, make you taste all the suffering in life before you die." His hair flowed down his back, not stirred by wind, yet flying, his entire aura expanding like never before, just lacking a bit of power to break through to the ninth heaven. Martial emperor, already but still forcibly suppressed by him, down to prevent Wang Zhen's body from collapsing. His index finger drew a circle before him. A sword light immediately appeared, appearing on the fingertip. The fingertip led the sword forward, carrying rings of aura with each strike, unleashing a very powerful heavenly sword stance. Li Yunxiao could already feel that force from afar, causing the skin and face to ripple like waves. In front of Wang Gong, he did not dare to use the immortal golden body technique. If he gets recognized, it will be a big problem. Pressed back by the opponent's sword aura, he flew backward, while the little diamond gourd was controlled by his mind. On the contrary, he shouted loudly and charged forward. Wang Gong spoke up, "Top warrior of the Tianyi clan is just average. With one sword strike to open the heavens, I'll break this top warrior. Give me own." The direct sword strike hits the golden light sword pill in the right hand, and the power of the sword immediately disappears. The sword's momentum directly cuts into the fist's core, forcing him to fight desperately and suppress him. Wang Chan is shocked. What? His heaven-splitting sword can be considered a relic even among the martial saints of the 8th rank. Even an 8th rank martial saint can be cut apart. It should be two halves. Why did it only cut a little? That sword energy is extremely powerful. Although it can't break the little diamond gourd, it still pushed it flying backward. Lai Vantu stood at a distance watching the fight, his expression calm as water, showing no emotion, though inside he was truly strong. After all, it was the divine will of Vong at work. Gong, if not considered as martial ancestor Ding Fong normally absolutely cannot cause any harm body of or little Vajra. On the other side, Wang Zhen has great magical authority. Every move suppresses the little Vajra gourd completely, overpowering him without any offensive power. Most of the moves strike his body. If it's not in the 9 stages document of Zi Qing Song sword that it joins a bit of heavenly reflection golden expansion, so under this powerful link tap, the body is probably already damaged. The little gourd's small metal hardness is his own body, and he also has his own anger. He's roaring but can't do anything, almost beaten to death, unable to do any. Suddenly he withdrew his attack, arms wrapping around the circle above. The non-hit zone, faint blue color, appeared around his body. The luminous, mystical light illuminated the sky, and a symbol like a flower flickered within the light. He softly shouted, "The ultimate spirit technique," pattern within that luminous image, immediately retracting into the body. Wang Zhen pierced straight through the blue light, appearing in an instant in front of the little diamond gourd, striking down with a single blow. The little diamond gourd shouted loud, his diamond fist shattering the space extremely powerful, but was stopped by a green, an immensely powerful force block, and he immediately fell into a piece of blue light, unaware of the enormous force from head to toe tearing at his body, as if an endless power wanted to rip him apart. Crack! Suddenly, the right hand's little diamond gourd broke off, directly piercing through the blue light, then disappeared without a trace. On the body, crack began to appear, and person struggling endlessly in the light. Li Yunxiao saw that the small golden pill was about to run out of energy, and at this moment quickly rushed over to the spot between his eyebrows. The ancient celestial eye immediately shot out, a gust of wind force spinning around, not center, just one breath has already expanded over 10 times, sweeping continuously through heaven and earth. After executing the supreme spirit ultimate technique, this body of King Zhen has borne the weight to the extreme. If he forcibly distracts his mind to attack, his body will definitely weaken, leaving hidden dangers. Warrior Lord Yi Tin, is that all you've got? He's extremely dissatisfied and has drawn his martial arts technique, transforming into a streak of light, then swiftly dodges torrent of wind from the ancient cusp wind. Vong Tran, furious, glares at Lai Vantu. "I personally took action, yet I still couldn't catch this person. Truly unbelievable. Youngster, who are you? If you dare to kill my disciple, you must have courage to bear the wrath." Xiao Yuan said. "If not, what kind of man are you?" Li Yunxiao raised his hand and called Hu Lu Shao Kim Kwang back, smiling. "Sooner or later you'll find out. Don't be impatient. Hold on a little longer. Stay. The interesting thing behind isn't just playing happily, right?" Vong Tran snorted coldly, turned around, and flew away into the distance. "I've memorized your appearance. As long as you're in the northern realm, don't even dream of having a peaceful day." Li Vantu remained standing there, watching Vong Tran's body leave all the way until, as he disappears from sight, the loving voice, Long's voice echoes, "Why didn't you chase after him? Can't kill you right now. You just need to follow and prolong until his body can no longer withstand. Then, when that time comes, your spiritual consciousness will naturally leave the body, and you'll be able to act once to kill him." "I don't believe this method. Didn't think about it." Lai Vantu smiled and said, "Killing is not my goal. If Vong Wang Tsong has stepped forward. Consider an old acquaintance giving him some face. Won't hurt, right? Moreover, Wang Tsong can be seen as a local hero. If pressuring causes Din Quang to seek revenge, then I also won't be able to bear it. The smile on his face, the more peculiar he became, he said. Moreover, there is a prince quiet, watching intent. I also don't want to matchmake for others. As soon as he finished speaking, just beyond that space, a water body appeared with tremor. A young man dressed in pale red robes slowly descended from the sky. The man was dressed impeccably with an extraordinary aura. After the man left, his gaze fell directly on the little diamond gourd. He opened his mouth and said, "This piece is extremely unusual. Little brother, tell me the price. No matter how much it costs, I will buy it." Some people even bargain like this, opening their mouths to say, "No matter how much, you can buy anything with money," except for fools. Only those who are absolutely confident in their own financial power do that. Moreover, the appearance of this person's attire indicates that he belongs to the second type. Lai Van Tu looked at this person's figure and said with a smile, "Have you ever tried the tea of deep Dan?" The man's face showed stubbornness as he replied, that really is inedible. Don't be stubborn anymore. How much is the quote for this repair? I won't let you down. Li Yunxiao squinted. This man in front of him wasn't even 30 yet, younger than Wang Zhen, but his cultivation was subtly higher than Wang Zhen's, at least a martial sovereign second star. The northern region truly is the strongest place among the four great regions, although casually one can see young people with the rank of martial sovereign walking the streets. This, if placed in the other three regions, would also be elder-ranked figures in the sect. Lai Van Tu coldly snorted and said, "Since there is no deep Dan tea, then just casually give you tens of thousands of nine. Go ahead, take this flawed material." The young man laughed and said, "Haha, that's not very comfortable. I think this flawed material of yours isn't exactly worth it. It might be a very precious item. Probably something went wrong during the refining process, and that's why it ended up like so. Here, I'll give you 2 portions of flawed materials. Is this yours? Is it okay?" Li Yunxiao said, "Do you want to deceive my training method with dried herbs? I also have no interest in that." The young man's face showed an awkward expression, shouting, "Are you really selling or not?" Li Yunxiao chuckled, and the small gourd transformed into a streak of light and he retracted into his heart, then rushed toward Wufang City, ignoring that person any longer. The young man chased after him, shouting, Hey, why are you being so disrespectful? Aren't you a disciple? Just now you tried to assassinate the eldest young master of the mysterious light sect. I saw it with my own eyes." Li Van Tu stopped and looked. He said, "It was you who just told me the location of Wang Zhen, and moreover, you should also know he has Wang Gong's divine mark on him." "Who are you exactly?" "I have to tell Wang Gong about this. I can't bear this injustice alone." The young man laughed. "Speaking of justice, there must be proof first. I, Consort Le Fu Vu, do not know your identity." "Consort Le Fu Vu already knows. Wait a moment, I will have to inform Emperor Du Huin so we can meet again later." Lai Van Tu immediately cupped his hands and displayed an exquisite body technique, and in the blink of an eye was over 100 meters away. "You?" Consort Le Fu Vu was stunned. "Never before. When I encounter someone like this, then he immediately chases after me, shouting, 'Hey, today Cheng Wufeng has something very important to discuss. Are you interested in joining?' I'm not interested." Li Yunxiao also didn't turn back, spitting out 3 words, then quickening his pace, seemingly determined to leave this person behind. The number of martial artists besieging Wufang City. Is there any way to send messages outside? Because to resolve the boredom, HCU City Wufang plans to hold a grand martial artist trading event today, where all strong fighters outside the martial ancestor can participate. Are you really not interested? Maybe. There are many unimaginable treasures. Yes, Lo-Fi Vu's movement technique is not much worse than his. He's right behind Lai Van, about 30 feet apart. Look at this distance. He's trying to maintain this gap. Inside, he's long been terrified beyond measure. His martial arts are his ultimate skill, never defeated by others. But today, he's met someone who matches him. He stopped. Li Yunxiao then turned around, smiled, and said, "The martial arts exchange festival sounds very meaningful. Only those with martial honor can participate." He turned around and said, "The martial arts exchange festival sounds very meaningful. Only those with martial honor can participate." He turned around and said, "The martial arts exchange festival sounds very meaningful. Only those with martial honor can participate." He turned around and said, "The martial arts exchange festival sounds very meaningful. Only those with martial honor can participate." He turned around and said, "The martial arts exchange festival sounds very meaningful. Only those with martial honor can participate." He looked carefully at Li Yunxiao's face, confirming that he didn't look like a disguised person. He looked carefully at Li Yunxiao's face, confirming that he didn't look like a disguised person. Hu Gi said, "Your appearance is quite unusual. With such cultivation, about to some kind of martial arts, don't make fun of anymore. You can control a core. At the 8th stage, at least it exists."